sounded like you were trying to get the attention of the troopers, tell me what happened.
They didn't want to hear anything. And there was a multitude of diversity with the same statement. They were just oblivious to it. And they got aggressive when we insisted.
Yeah.
I was told to back up. And the first thing I did when I addressed the troopers was I told them that I'm a certified, bonded investigator, employed in New Orleans at a law firm. And I saw the whole incident, and I would like to just tell them who the aggressors were. And I also saw someone from the come out and say, yes, we want to press charges. And they still proceeded to go over there and act as if these people they had been assaulted. And that whole door was busted down. This was violent. I mean, when I say violent, very violent occurrence.
We'll put you on the mic and get your account with after. But thanks again. All right, great.
Nice to meet you.
This is probably going to air. Well, I'll let you know. We don't know the exact dates, but I'll let you know. Yeah, all right.
Trust me, all your friends will tell you.
I'm sure they will.
They're taking this and running this one up.
Are you sure?
Put them to the back.
Yes, that's cool.
No. Yeah, of course, yeah. You kind of make the rounds around here?
I am doing a piss poor job of trying to continue my life. I hate that word. I'm a citizen that has needs. And just a certain citizen, if you're gonna,
I'm going to shoot you over here and it's a friend looking at the sticks.
Yeah.
Start in.
So you see, okay. So just before we kind of start this interview, do you want to be known with Mama D's son carrying on her work? Okay.
Most definitely.
Good. All right.
But that word activist has become a mercenary term. And they go to
And I guess what it kind of means is rather than
sit back.
deal with your own issues, go out and help others.
I know what it means, right? But that meaning has been shifted into a mercenary type of movement that is prompted and perpetuated by where the checks and grants are.
But I see on this case, which we're doing this, developing this story,
Well, I'd really like to be clean for a tattoo.
so you were not just parachuting in. You were here and witnessed what happened. So tell me what you thought.
Okay, so my little brother called me and said he wanted me to meet him at Blue Nile. When I got to Blue Nile, he said, man, I'm caught up at work. I need another hour. So I walked down in the grill to see who was playing there. By the time I got to the door of the grill, music was playing and I could hear the N-word. So I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on in New Orleans, right? So I walk down, and when I get away from the music being right directly in my ears, I start to hear the whole play. So I start walking aggressively down. I get to about right there, and I hear the female present, the oldest female. I hear her berating the gentleman who was arrested, right? And he is a mild-mannered dude. I don't know him, but I could barely hear what he was saying. But I could tell it was, now he had his hands up, like, just banging away. I could look at his body language, right?
How about the security guard?
Yeah, the guy that works here, Eddie. Okay, I didn't know his real name. Okay, so while Eddie's standing there talking, and I'm telling you, the barrage he's under, it's as hostile as conversation can get. Spit coming out of people's mouths, racial slurs, right? Whatever, I don't know what exactly triggered the lady, but she just got physical and just bopped him right in his face, right? And then when she did that, the two dudes with her simultaneously just all started hitting him. The people in there helped him get him out the door and finally slammed the door, right? They stood there. They stood there and beat that door with no objects, with their feet and hands until they cracked it, man. That's how violent it was, right? The whole time racial slurs, you N-word, we're gonna get you, you N-word, you're gonna pay for this, right? Now, mind you, with hindsight, the whole time the dude had a concealed weapon. So that was a very vicious threat, right? So,
did you ever hear him say, as some witnesses said, I'm gonna shoot this place up or something to that effect?
I didn't hear him say, no, I'm not gonna embellish because I wanna make a real point here, okay? I didn't hear him say I'm gonna shoot the place up. But the terms I use, like you're gonna pay, and yeah, I heard that. There was threats like something's gonna happen. There's gonna be repercussion. That was definitely the message sent, right?
Sure.
So they realized that they flipped out and just caused total chaos, right? And everybody's watching. They've drawn a crowd. So as the limo pulls up, the lady who first started all the physical interaction, she says, come on, and has to drag them away. Really, they don't want to leave. Has to drag her party away. They go get in the limo. I see the limo driver about to pull off, and I recognize it from the neighborhood. I said, say, man, you know my mother, don't you? And he said, yeah. I said, don't move, please. I said, I know they're pressuring you to move. I said, but the authorities have been notified, and there was a serious crime here. It was a hate crime. And so he said, okay. And he complied. He said, but I need to pull over. So he pulled over right there, right? So the first thing I did after that was I talked to Eddie. And I said, Eddie, you need to press full charges, man. You need to come over when the police come and press charges. He said, man, I don't want any problems. And at the time, I didn't realize it, but you know, with hindsight, I realize and recognize now that he was on probation. He didn't want any problems. And that was his whole demeanor, the whole incident, okay? And so he's under that duress. He doesn't want to talk. And I told him right then and there, I said, you know what, man, they're in a limo. And they're gonna change the story. God, I know, protect yourself. But he just didn't want to, you know, get involved. So when he chose not to get involved, the van sat there. State trooper pulls up, parks right there.
Keep going this way.
I'm sorry.
Perfect. Right there.
The state trooper pulls up and parks right there, blocks the street, right? And he walks right over here, and someone, an authority from this establishment comes out. First thing he says is, "You want to press charges?" He said, "Yes, we want to press charges." I heard that. And then I'm walking him to the scene and saying, "Sir, my name is Byron Cole. I'm a certified investigator in Louisiana. I work for an attorney, and I'm a credible witness. I can testify what I saw." I said, "This was a hate crime." I said, "These people were very heinous and aggressive, physically aggressive, and assaulted people, and were using racial slurs the entire time," which all 30 witnesses corroborated, right? And so he says, okay. He walks over, and instead of him handling this in the policing style that he should have handled it in, he chose a legalistic style where he greeted them and said, "Hello, how are you?" And we're all saying, "Hey, these people are heinous. This is dangerous for you," right? And he's telling us, "Back off," you know, as the video illustrates, right? And so the lady that initiated the physical contact here, she came off the bus and was coming up like she was gonna hit me, right? And then some people stepped in, and then the trooper came, and she was ushered back to the limousine, right? That same lady came off that bus and hit another black lady in the face in front of the state trooper, and still was only charged with misdemeanor charges, if she was charged at all. Okay, and everyone saw that. Every witness and every trooper on the scene saw her do that. And so I don't know who these people were from Mississippi, but whatever they said in private to the first state trooper, it carried weight. I saw how he fell in line with it, right? So I'm waiting for his superior to come, because I know that's the protocol, right? And then to my dismay, when the superior gets there, he's an officer that I've already had an encounter with about him being unfair and about him being reckless, really. And That's a different story. You know, I won't go into it. But so, to my dismay, he shows up, and I know that I still have to do what I need to do, so I attempt to do that. And on my video, it shows me being threatened, saying, "Get away!" And I'm asking him, why isn't the procedure of the Watchman style that's used against me, which was just used against me recently, and I just ran for mayor, or, you know what I mean? And why is that style used against me? And I watched you use a legalistic style against them. Why didn't you pull them out the car and get all their IDs like you do us? You know, and sometimes even, you know, we have to stand in cuffs and, you know, wait till they clear everything up. And I wanted to know, with such a large party and there only being 2 officers, why would they allow them to be in a vehicle where it's a big limo, where things are concealed and there's all kinds of compartments? And why were they not handling their business for what they were brought here specifically for, which was crime in the French Quarters? And there was a manager here that had stated there had been a crime, and an investigator, and 30 witnesses from a diverse group of males, females, people from out of town, people from here.
And let me ask you,
I think that's how we keep. I think that's how we keep getting out.
okay. So, at any point in this, did you see a gun brandished by the older gentleman in the Mississippi group?
He did not brandish it, but he had it on him concealed illegally in the state of Louisiana. And that's an issue that the trooper never filed those charges.
Did you ever see the trooper handle the gun and put it in his pocket? Because that's pretty clear on the video. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. I stood there and witnessed that. But what was more compelling is that's why I keep bringing up how diverse the group was, right? Because what was more compelling is that we were all telling him, man, it's not safe for you. You know, you need to heighten your procedures for his own safety, right? And he disregarded all that and then found a pistol on the man. That's what was so crazy.
And what we did see, ultimately, they get arrested
On misdemeanor charges.
on municipal charges.
Municipal
They're all
charges.
misdemeanors.
Yeah.
But on municipal charges, at that point, they're getting put in handcuffs. Did you seem to think that this was now being properly handled?
No. Right then and there, I said that there was no clear procedure that I saw that I respected, and that I knew the rest of it would be a sham. Somebody may have it on video that I said, we need to go down and see what the charges are.
Right. Okay, and then the charges turn out to be, you know, drunk in public, disturbing the peace.
And so the lady
And
didn't
it's-
get an assault charge?
And a simple battery,
Okay.
but no gun charge.
Okay.
What ultimately did happen is, after the district attorney was made aware of the video and shown the video, saw the gun, brought
Just kind of talking together.
brought a state charge of illegal carrying of a weapon, the gun. So the trooper somehow didn't bring that, but the district attorney, upon the review of the video, did. So what's your opinion about the troopers handling it in light of that?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, and that's why I was talking about procedure. Because the vehicle was never searched thoroughly, was never cleared. All the things they do to me, a local that lives here, that's not a felon, that's never committed any heinous crime, they don't do that to certain demographics, and that's the whole issue here. I know the trooper did not know those people personally. So that means there's a protocol. And where are they getting that at? In their briefings? What's up? That's what we want to know as citizens. That's what we're challenging.
And then, how do you feel about the fact that now, with this charge by the district attorney's office of illegal carrying of a firearm, there's no gun in evidence. There's no gun on the books. You know, there's a report that mentions the gun by the troopers. The gun is AWOL.
Of course. Well, let me tell you something. My response to that is, I know by the hundreds people sitting in Angola and hunts and where there was no weapon ever found. But we have clear video and 30 witnesses that are all residents that saw clearly this man had a concealed weapon. And so, I mean, the DA is going to support who? The tourists or the
No,
citizens?
the DA went and did the right thing.
Yeah.
Saw the video, saw there was a gun.
Well, what I would like to know-
gun charge, but the troopers.
What I would like to know is,
the gun is unaccounted.
what's more important if we're going to talk about the district attorney is what evidence was presented before him to make him come back and arrest the victim. See, that's a, yeah.
Let me get that straight. But once again, that was purely the state troopers who came back,
Yeah.
gathered evidence to get a
But
judge to sign an arrest warrant for Eddie, the security guard, for second-degree battery, which is a serious state felony.
Okay.
When the DA saw heard from the attorney, saw the video, he immediately dropped that charge.
Okay, so
So the troopers somehow, and again, how did they come up with that? Was there any evidence on the scene?
No.
Were there any witnesses?
no
At
one
all?
corroborating with that family whatsoever. Everyone out here was extremely upset by what we saw. And I was really proud of my city because that's why I keep mentioning it was a diverse crowd. Because, you know, we had all nationalities saying this was a hate crime. And the state trooper refused to acknowledge that from so many different people. And that's an issue when we have so much going on in the public now about hate crimes and, you know, there being, you know, reciprocity for the victims.
Well, how do you feel about the fact that after sorting out the incident on the street, hitting the Mississippi tourists with municipal charges, they came back with an arrest warrant for the security guard for a state felony?
To me, that shows a tit for tat, and let me explain what I mean by that. That was a power struggle. They said, okay, you're going to do that, we're going to do this. And that also, you know, just supports what I've been saying for 5 years now, that we have a rogue culture of state police that operate in our jurisdiction, right, that are not from here, are not sensitive to our culture. When you respond to them in a colloquial manner, they think that's aggressive, even if you don't raise your voice. And so we have a lot of issues with that. And when we were protesting, having the troopers come because of the crime in the French quarters, we knew what that meant. We live on the edge of the quarters, so we could get here to go to work traditionally. That's why that was that way. And so the troopers are not just causing this mayhem here in the French quarters. They're going as far as Hardin Park. You know, that's way deep in the 7th Ward. And I've seen them driving down the street and just little fellas walking and say, hey, stop, what's your name? And jump out, and that become an issue. Matter of fact, one day they had to shoot one of them. I have a live video on my Facebook, but they had to shoot one of them one day because they told him, hey, stop, illegally, and he ran. And then when he was shot, he did have, I think he had something on him that was illegal, so I'm not trying to condone any bad behavior, but I am saying that I'm a war veteran, and this is America, and you can't just profile certain people to stop, because I know where you can go profile any nationality of people to find what you want to find if you're looking for it in certain areas.
I guess what it boils down to is, did you see anything out here that would have warranted a battery charge on the security guard?
No. If anything, if his father was out here, he would have chastised him for the beating he took. They all punched him multiple times in the face. I mean, if I didn't have so much to lose, I would have helped him.
So let me get this straight. They ended up putting a charge on the victim?
Yes. And we need to trace back and see who gave that authority and on what evidence, besides the word of the criminals. And there being obviously a double standard, because the accused in New Orleans never gets to just say, hey, it wasn't me, and they're the ones lying, and just walk away and have charges filed. That never happens that way.
And what we ended up with was the Mississippi tourists on a municipal charge quickly get released on their own with cognizance.
Of course. When we're fast tracked, we still sit about 20 hours, 24.
But that did not happen in Eddie's case. You know, he had a parole and a parole hold. He had to pay bail.
Yeah.
And he sat in jail on a state felony for multiple days.
Yes, and that's a whole nother issue if you want to talk about. We're already suffering from abject poverty here in this city, and that's documented by Katrina, right? And then to have these state authorities prey on us and cost us our very, very, very imperative rent money and grocery money and, you know, child support. You know, that's why this has to be exposed. I appreciate you, really.
And so, bottom line, troopers got it wrong.
Got it wrong. But wait, no, we can't classify as they got it wrong. That was a conspiracy. They get it wrong. If they got it wrong, we'd be talking about how can we help them hone their skills. That wasn't a botched investigation. If you go look at my
What you're
video,
saying is it was not an inadvertent.
yeah, it wasn't
mistake.
inadvertent at all. It was not arbitrary. No, it was intentional. I just explained and broke down how there's only 4 or 5 acceptable policing styles in the United States. And every jurisdiction has to align with one of them, right? And I sat out here and watched 2 different styles displayed depending on who they're dealing with multiple times. And that's an issue. If you're local, you get harassed, handled, grabbed, cuffed until they figure out what they want to do, sat on the curb. And we saw people physically violate a victim. And can I please see your ID? He asked him to step out the van initially when he got there, and the mom said, no, it's okay. The lady who started the physical confrontation said, no, it's okay, we got it. And for whatever reason, they were never made to get out after that.
I did see you in the crowd saying that that's the lady. She was
Yes,
the one who did
she's
it.
the one. That's what I'm saying on the video. I'm embarrassed by how excited I got, but I was appalled. I was like, wait a minute. That's like watching somebody come out of the bank with all the money and they just killed 10 people, right? And then they stand in the crowd and walk up and the police come assault you. And I'm saying, no, it was her. It's her. I'm looking at her. And she started it all. And really the men, they showed a true hate, but they were victims of circumstance. You know, you gotta protect your wife, even though she started it. And man, when I tell you violent, I'm from New Orleans, the 7th Ward. I've seen violence. I was shocked. This lady was so violent, 120 pounds, violent. And I was like, oh my God. And so I was really waiting on their authorities to relay that information. They were unconcerned.
I'm sorry it went down like that, but guess what? That's why we're here.
Yes.
So that's why you're here.
Yes.
So, yeah,
Thank you. Yes. Please, let's get some justice for this young man.
Yeah.
He got mistreated severely, man. Sorry. He really got mistreated. Is he going to get any of his money back? I mean, look, you know what I mean?
We're going to work on that. I'm the guy who bailed him out.
Oh,
I'm the guy
there
who
you
gave him all
are.
the money. I'm the
That's
guy
right.
who
Yes, sir. Are you the owner?
Yes.
Thank you, man, for standing with them.
He's my brother. Of course I'm going to
Yeah,
stand.
I couldn't believe that. I was on my way to Blue Nile, and I can hear the N-word from all the way down
I
there.
heard all about it. I've
Yeah.
been furious. The fact that I had to freaking scrounge up $8,000 basically to get him out of jail. So I needed a defense attorney like days before Christmas.
Yeah.
Then I don't hear a thing about it until I'm driving to Lafayette for New Year's Eve. There's troopers at my door, you know, like wondering where he is and wondering
Let's say
where.
whoever tipped you to hire Jeffrey, it's a good tip.
Well, my buddy's at the bike shop. Yeah, Jeffrey's very good, but he's also.
I want to introduce myself.
I'm Tom Thayer. I'm the owner of the I'm glad that you're, and I'm glad that we, Jeffrey and Adrian, as good as they are, to get enough people and all this. I mean, again, ridiculous that, again, there's 2 sets of rules. And I said it from day one, when the cops came the next day, when the cops came the next day to look at the footage, one of the troopers, all he cared about was who took the first swing. He filled in on his, and I was like, wait. There's so much more to look at here. And I think he also his camera was not working at the time. It was down, it was going in and out, and I was trying to get it. So he also made note of that one not working, so to make sure that we didn't have footage of him doing anything. But so,
Well, what I realized about it all in hindsight, I'm an investigator, and what I realized about it in hindsight was they caused a disturbance in your club.
they started pushing, the two parties started pushing each other like they wanted to fight each other.
Yeah.
And Eddie walked over and said, "Hey guy, why don't you go outside and get a breath of fresh air?" And his buddy behind him throws down the glass, calls him the N-word, and grabs him by the collar. And so Eddie, and then
out the gate.
And so Eddie's got 5 guys around him, and so he is standing his ground and protecting his base.
It took the whole staff to get him out the door.
Got him
I
out
watched
the door. It
whole
could
staff.
have been over at that point.
Yes.
But then the N-word, the bottles being thrown,
Yes.
the freaking, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna shoot this place
You
up.
see him kicking the door
I
and
saw.
banging.
I got footage of all that. I just didn't have this one.
So you tell him how violent it was. It was extremely violent.
You seen the footage?
Yeah.
These people were enraged, and they said, "I'm gonna go get my gun and kill this
They
guy."
were kind of let it out. They were not going to just, okay, just turn back, just drive off. They were insistent on that.
And so see that tweet? He said, "I'm gonna go get my gun. I'm gonna kill this guy." Right? So that means when I said that.
This end, not just this guy.
So look,
Yeah.
when I said that the police broke for procedure, it said on my video, why aren't you guys sweeping? Why aren't you clearing this vehicle? It's a very large limousine. So he said, we should come back and shoot up this place. Where do you think he's getting the gun from? Out of the limousine that they refused to, that they've still never searched to this day.
We're going to get to the bottom of all that.
Yeah.
Appreciate your help.
Yeah.
I know you're,
Thank you.
you know,
I want to get money.
Whatever you guys need me to do
Thank
on
you.
this one, I'm
let
gonna
me
do
just ask
it.
you one favor. I know you post stuff on Facebook Live, different social media, and your daughter, you know, taking this. Just wait till my story air,
Okay.
and then I'll give full green light
Yeah, and
and blow it up.
I'm trying to keep my.
And we're
you know,
keeping the name out.
I mean, I'm trying to
That's all
keep.
that.
I'm trying to keep the club. I mean, I have a club. Like, which is my. I've been here 20 years now, and I don't have guns in my club. It just happened to be these people came in from Jackson,
What we
Mississippi
talking
with
about?
guns. Yeah.
These houses are gonna be-
So let me say
we
this.
thought not to use the name.
Let me say this. You know, I'm very impressed by you because never ever said that the inconspicuous acts committed against blacks in the United States will continue without fear of reprisal due to the inconspicuous absence of the decent or so-called moderate white person. Absolutely. So what I need to know, hey, kill that video and delete it.